All right, as the title suggests, I'll be drawing Supergirl, and the reason is some behind the scenes photos leaked. They're very blurry and from very far away, but it gives an idea of what the Supergirl outfit will look like for the Supergirl movie. Now, it's of some interest that there will be a Supergirl movie, despite what happens with the Superman movie. Now, that's probably if Superman fails, this whole DCU effort pretty much collapses overnight. And so the what they got go there, what they got going is of course Supergirl movie, and then the Green Lantern show, which they're shooting also now, and that's all you'll get, with that sort of thing. Um, I assume they would still go with Supergirl in theaters. Should Superman prove to be a massive bomb? Uh, all of a sudden, they're saying great things, but I mean, it's a Warner Brothers executive saying, "Oh my God, it's so damn good," and all this sort of stuff. Um, which, of course, if it is, it's done its job. I mean, that's all along. I've said the Superman movie can't just be good; it has to be great. And I dubious if that is possible enough to achieve the desired effect of re-energizing this superhero movie genre, but also the shared universe entity of it. Now, the shared universe thing was always the case for, well, not always, but for most of the existence of American superhero comics, beginning with Superman, uh, became that very quickly, where they, depending on what company entity owned the characters lived in the same world with each other. And so, ever since you had Superman and Batman meeting and Wonder Woman and all that, uh, that was pretty much the standard. And by the time Marvel came along, and I mean, granted, when it was timely comics, Captain America and Submariner and all that were introduced about the same era as Superman and Batman. But it was really in the 60s when Marvel becomes the Marvel Comics. It became the big thing. Um, but right off the bat, really, by the time you get there, and it was true of in the timely comics era as well, but more so with Marvel in the 60s with Fantastic Four and then the Avengers and Spider Man and so on, and that they all lived in the same world and predominantly uh, in New York City, which was a choice on Marvel's part to do it like that, whereas DC has two versions of New York City somehow existing on the world somewhere in the United States of Gotham and Metropolis. And then there's also a New York City somewhere in there. So it's like the DC universe Earth is much bigger than the one we're familiar with. Um, so, um, should Superman bomb or not achieve the desired effect, it may be like for most people, like, it's all right, it makes some money, but it really has to ignite the interest in more of this uh, to pretty much save the whole damn company, really. and other projects that they want to do. Even with that, I'm pretty sure the company will be sold, but you got to pretty it up for the buyer so they get the best deal possible. Um, and that's basically the goal, but you got to get there. And the superhero movies make the blockbuster amounts of money. And if that's the case, then you can afford other projects that you can take the risks on as well, but they won't be, as expensive as superhero movies. And that's the truth of superhero movies. Is like the science fiction movies for the most part, especially if it's on par with Star Wars or something like that. It's expected you're going to spend a lot of money on that. Jeez, this mic is just too far away. Well, there's not much I can do. Um, so anyway, they've cast, of course, Millie Alcock. That's right. That's her name. As Supergirl. Um, and only really know her from House of the Dragon in season one, um, which she did a good job in it, and so we'll see how she does as Supergirl. And the images, I'll show them when I get to the coloring part of this in Photoshop, because I took a few, and so, but it's they're not great images of it, but it kind of looks like. I mean, you can definitely see that the S symbol is similar, and you would expect that is similar to the one that David Cornsweet is showing in his costume that you see uh, from the Superman movie. And so it should follow suit through that. But it's also evocative, very much in line with the look of Supergirl's outfit from the comic book that this movie is based on, which is, The Woman of Tomorrow story, which is unfortunately more indications of the influence that writer Tom King will have, and on not just Supergirl but the DCU overall. I mean, he's also a big part of the Green Lantern show. I don't think he's ever actually written a Green Lantern comic. Um, Maybe with the rest of the Justice League or something like that. I mean, I quit reading the guy after Mr. Miracle. That was just such a bait and switch. And since then, nothing good has come out. I mean, it's always some preachy crap and it's trying to find your mommy and the woman you love and stuff like that is just. And he did this story where the Wally West Flash was a murderer. Stupid stuff like that. But I did read Woman of Tomorrow, and it's probably the least offensive, if you will, of the stories he's done. So they might do all right with it and just the basic story, but the thing of it is, it's not an original story. It's basically stolen top to bottom from True Grit, and with Supergirl in the role that John Wayne played, in the movie, and about this girl who wants revenge against the man who murdered her father, but it all takes place in outer space. It's obviously not the old West and everything. and there's sort of this odyssey through different worlds and stuff. Uh, that's one of the things that was interesting about this is I because with the problems that Warner Brothers is facing, and I figured the motivation for rebooting DC was to gamble on it in the hopes that they could have a successful, uh, product to generate, new profits and income, of course. Uh, but it was also indicative that they couldn't continue on with the cast they already had with, Gal Gadot and uh, Henry Cavill and Affleck. So so they got newer, younger cast members who aren't really all that well known and stuff like that. So it won't be as expensive, at least in that aspect of it. Uh, However, and then but they're putting a lot of money. I'm assuming that to bet on Superman to introduce this thing, and yet with Supergirl gets this, spacefaring sci-fi spectacular. I kind of wonder if the Supergirl movie would be even more expensive, but perhaps not, because I suppose quite a bit of it could be considered cheaper to do with a lot of green screening of alien backgrounds and that sort of thing. On the shooting that from the images that it shows from the set, there's this it's a practical set. They've got this sort of, you know I guess alien battle tank in there that she's supposedly fighting Lobo in there, because he will be in the film. He was not in the comic book story, although it would have made perfect sense for him to be there because she's in outer space and all this type of stuff. So you would imagine that she runs into him. He's not the one that he didn't kill this girl's father. They've cast the guy, I forget the guy's name, who will be playing that character. So they're following that. Uh, that would be a bit of a problem to continue on with Lobo if he did something that horrible. I mean, he's supposed to be a nasty guy of a sort, uh, certainly in contrast to Superman. But and should this succeed, I imagine you'll get Lobo will get his own movie. More than likely, typically, his story would cross over with Superman, as certainly in the cartoon and the comics, that at one point he was hired to capture Superman for a collection of rare species because the Kryptonians are all dead. So he goes and does that, only to find himself being locked up as well because his people are extinct as well. And so uh, that would it, but they would probably want to not adapt that or change it to their own way. I wish they would some of those cartoon scenarios, and they could have certainly there are different spins on it, but that sort of thing where it backfires on him, and then he and Superman have to team up and all that sort of thing. Um, but that's Lobo is one of those that when James Gunn was announced to be taking over DC and being the guiding creative force for it, with Peter Safran being the business end of it. Um, I thought things like Lobo would be right up his alley. That and when they get there to a Lobo movie, he more than likely should be the one directing it, because I mean, he's already done Guardians of the Galaxy and that sort of thing, and so Lobo's an outer space guy, and he's just a sort of rotten but funny character that James Gunn uh, does so well and just knows how to do it. Superman is just, I never would have thought of him to be a director for Superman. Um, a Superman and Lobo movie, yeah, he probably could do that, but a full on Superman movie. So I don't know. I was always a bit trepidatious about it, and still am. I don't know. There's things I'm seeing about this that uh, I don't really get or care for. But it might work overall for the movie, and I'll just have to deal with it. That's just the way it goes. Um, but I don't know. He just would not have been the guy I would pick to do that. And it's one thing for him to be in charge overall for studio purposes, but I would have thought he'd be the guy to look for the talent that he could see being able to tackle. So, I mean, that's what he's doing. He's hiring people to do other projects and whatnot. So, but I mean, Superman's important. This is their sort of flagship beginning point of this whole endeavor. So I guess they, in that event of it, it makes sense of the main boss to be in charge of it. Um, but it's been an odd thing, marketing wise and stuff like that, where they make a big deal about that it's James Gunn doing it, um, and they keep praising David Cornsweet and his performance, but you don't really hear much from him. You don't really see much from him uh, selling the movie, and being your promo guy. Apparently, people who got to meet him at CinemaCon and stuff like that were impressed with him, so he's a charismatic fella and all that sort of stuff. And well, then why isn't he out in front? So I don't know. Of course, if it fails, there'll be all kinds of blame and stuff. And there's a lot of things that came before, really, that it's got nothing to do with James Gunn. It's the situation you inherit when you come in there. It's the same thing for the CEO of Zaslav. He's got to find money. He's got to take care of debt, which he was doing initially, stuff like that, and prep this more than likely for sale. Uh, and to not burn any more money. And yet they've had some losers here and there, because right off the bat, as soon as they get started, the leftover DC movies uh, didn't do well. Even though, with the exception of The Flash, which was just butchered over and over again, and then you had your problems with the main star being so weird, and all those disturbing scandals about him. The rest of those movies, I didn't think they were that bad. The Aquaman movie was fun. It probably did the best of the batch. It was sad to see what became of the Shazam sequel, um, and it wasn't as good as the first one they did of Shazam, but it wasn't really all that awful. Um, but that is unfortunate. So, and then of course the Blue Beetle was all right, but Blue Beetle was just kind of standard superhero fare that wasn't going to wow anybody, and most people don't know who Blue Beetle is. So, had problems like that. But ultimately, the whole thing of the DC shared universe, well, they'd already said it was dead. So, uh, you can't ignore that and think it didn't that doesn't factor in to what happened to the demise of that whole ordeal. And so, but here they are with this one. They did the Creature Commandos cartoon. I liked it okay, but really, Superman is the beginning. If they capture Superman well, then maybe they got something. And then they got to figure out what they're going to do with their real star, Batman. Superman used to be the big kahuna, but it's long since been Batman. There's strange stories about the Matt Reeves Batman films, that Matt Reeves himself may have some personal life problems that's preventing him from finishing the script and getting to work on it. Uh, not long ago, they said, "Oh, they're going to start working on this fall. Start shooting, go into production, and all that." It doesn't look likely because there's no script. So, so maybe there is something there to rumors about Matt Reeves and health problems, and I don't know what all. Because for a bit there, I thought that the Penguin Show was a bit of a game changer, and probably also a a telltale sign of whether to continue on or scrap the project altogether. But the Penguin Show, which I believe is far superior to the actual Batman movie that they did, and it just was. Um, Probably breathed new life into the potential, but also whatever outlines or ideas they had for a script, you'd probably, well, now we want to emphasize Penguin more than anyone else, so you want to rewrite it like that and figure out how to fit him in and stuff like that. I would have thought that would be a no-brainer anyway because he was established in the first one, and he's kind of the last mobster standing. Of course, not really at the time. The TV show, he had to get there through that, but it seems like, yeah, he would be, if not the main villain, certainly one. But now you would probably want him to be the main villain. As a result of the success of the Penguin Show. So that could change things up a bit, but by now you think you would have an idea of what you want to do. The other aspect is back to, once again, the Superman movie. What if Superman fails? Everything's up in the air. Uh, I always thought that if it did, they would just say, we're just going to go back to doing Batman movies. And the ball's in Matt Reeves' court on that. But if there's troubles, that these things happen, uh, that could change all that. In the meantime, I'm sure they're still going ahead and with to be prepared to hit the ground running if Superman's a big hit. That then they got their green lights to go forward, but they got to side up and line up projects for their future DCU. So they may already have a Batman ready to go, or not ready to go just yet, but an actor that they're seriously considering to play the role. There's people insinuate, there's rumors that they've already done this and he'll show up in the Superman movie. I'm a little dubious on that, but it could be, you know. But you with the Matt Reeves and that you have this problem of you're competing Batman, and you probably would want to wrap up the Reeves Batman rather quickly. And well, that's not going to happen, especially if they intended for it to be a trilogy. Yeah. Hey, Thompson, do you like Black Mirror? Well, Black Mirror, heard so much about it, is one of those things that remains on the list of shows I have to get into. It's had several seasons now, so I'm way behind, but have not seen it. Especially as a big fan of Twilight Zone and the like, you would think it's tailor made for me. I just wrapped up finishing up Ozark season 2, So I've got that almost under wraps. So I'll get there, but it's time constraints and whatnot. Stealth Chaos says to A. Thompson, hi, is Mumbles around? I don't know, is he? Stealth Chaos, the name Blue Beetle just does not do it for me. Not as bad as Brown Cockroach, though. Yeah, I know. Brown Cockroach just never caught on. It's a sad story. I think he overdosed on Raid or something. Stealth Chaos, Superman is too powerful in primary colors, so Batman is more dark and approachable. Yeah. Mumbles Slam. Mumbles is not, in fact, around. Oh, all right then. We've got that all figured out. Stealth Chaos Plus, that Superman Genesis story is so boring at this point. You mean his whole Krypton exploding and all that? Well, they're not going to do it. He's already established and stuff. So they said, yeah, we're not doing the origin story. So Stealth Chaos at Mumbles Slam. What are these mind games that you play? I'm just drawing pictures. I don't know. Stealth Chaos, I want Rachel Ziegler as the new Supergirl. Guaranteed smash hit. Well, they decided to go with the House of the Dragon girl, so I don't know. Let's see. Who could she play? It's just they're probably never going to get I don't know. She needs to disappear for a while, do some small projects. It might have a comeback, Stealth Chaos, the competing Batman multiverse. Well, they almost did. They were going to have like Ben Affleck's Batman going through the multiverse and stuff, and they scrapped all that. Stealth Chaos, Black Mirrors Matter. Well, I did hear a lot about the show, so I guess there's truth to that. Stealth Chaos at Douglas Nelson. Wait, that's me. You got to watch Black Mirror. It's very hit and miss, but always intriguing. Yeah, I intend to, but, time and stuff. Mumbles, is it Mumbles Slam or Mumble? I thought it was a Mumble Siam. No, Mumble Slam. They should have called it Dark Mirrors, so staunch racists like Doug aren't turned off by the name. Oh my goodness. I don't know what gave you that idea. That's outrageous. But look, I'm going to watch the show. I just don't know when. All right, so now I got to color Supergirl. Didn't really do all that great of a job on this, but, it's what I did. To kill time with. No. Oh, wait, I know. The Drunk Girl. Hadn't played that in a while. Let's see. How long does it run? Hopefully it runs long enough. I don't. Good Lord. Means we won't be able to finish it, but, that's almost 20 minutes long. Oh, well, we'll do the Nailsin News one instead. This is a Nailsin News Bulletin. Dad invited 31-year-old Florida man to share a bedroom with his 15-year-old daughter. So, here's the boyfriend. Nice shirt. And here's Dad. Jeez, did he do a lot of coke or what? God. Anyway, a Missouri dad thought his teenage daughter was talking to a nice guy online. Oh, jeez. And allegedly invited him to come live with them, even though that guy was 31 years old. Hey, this is like the setup of a sitcom, isn't it? Frederick Copping, 47, was arrested on March 14th, along with Travis Kalkbrenner, 31, the Florida man who called Copping's 15-year-old daughter his girlfriend. According to a probable cause statement, police were called to the home in response to a possible domestic incident. The arrest warrant was for Copping. Said that when Cole County Sheriff's Office deputies arrived, they observed that the teenager was extremely intoxicated. And according to the local affiliate, she claimed to be 22 years old. Deputies soon found out that she was 15, and her living situation raised some eyebrows. All right. According to Copping's arrest warrant, he explained to police that his daughter had been talking to Kalkbrenner for a few years. Few? Now, usually few can count as 3. So, 12? Good Lord. Oh, anyway, on the internet, where all the good stuff happens. And the two communicated on the Discord app, including video chats. I'll bet. Copping told police that Kalkbrenner seemed like a nice guy and allegedly invited the man to move into his home with his underage daughter. Copping stated that he believed Kalkbrenner was 25 or 26 years old. Oh, well, that changes everything. But reportedly admitted that he wasn't sure. So at least Kalkbrenner didn't say, hey, man, I'm 16. No. The probable cause statement, as well as the warrant, described how Copping and his daughter allegedly drove to Florida to get Kalkbrenner. Good God. I mean, is he just this big of a pushover for his daughter? You know, to where, Daddy, I love him. All right, honey. Okay. When the trio arrived back at their Russellville home in Missouri, Copping allegedly provided the boyfriend with condoms. Jeez Louise, look, whatever you got to do, keep her occupied. I can't take her crap anymore. And told Kalkbrenner, you better not get her pregnant. Or what, Dad? What? Copping was also asked by police about his daughter's alleged intoxicated state. According to the warrant, he said, well, she has this habit of getting into his alcohol, and hey, I can't control that. According to the probable cause statement, deputies said that Kalkbrenner allegedly admitted to several sexual encounters with the teenager, whom he thought was 22 years old. Well, now here's the thing. This is quite the conundrum. Her father comes to get him from Florida and drive him back to Missouri to live with them. You know, and he may have a solid case. I really thought she was 22. You know. Geez, there's a lot of toys here in your room. Kalkbrenner was charged with first-degree rape, first-degree sodomy, 2 counts of statutory rape, 1 count of first-degree sexual abuse, and 1 count of fourth-degree child molestation. He's being held at the Cole County Jail without bond. He's due in court on March 21st, whatever. Copping was charged with child abuse, first-degree endangering the welfare of a child, first-degree accessory to rape, first-degree accessory to, good Lord, 2 counts of second-degree accessory to statutory rape, 1 count of first-degree accessory to sexual. Hey, that's true. He is an accessory. He provided the condom. He said, go at it. And he's got nothing. I mean, the other guy said, look, I really believe she was 22, but the father... No, he knew she was 15, but Hey, look, she's 22 in her mind. Whatever, and fourth degree accessory to child molestation. During his video arraignment on March 17th, he pled not guilty to all charges. Yeah, that'll work. He is also being held at the Cole County Jail without bond. Well, then, him and the very nice guy can hang out and talk about, hey, man, where do you think we messed up? He is scheduled for a counsel status hearing on March 21st and a preliminary hearing on April 3rd. Oh, that's it? Well, let's see what commentary has to say. Pat Veldon says this is just so wrong on so many levels. Well, the main level here is the father. Klingon psychiatry with that's Doctor Who in there. Well, whatever. Where is her mom in any of this? Yeah, that's a good question. Maybe she passed away. I don't know. Geist von Panzer, Kalkbritter, and his enabler Copping need to be hung by their ankles in town square. Well, only if people get to beat them with shovels and brooms and stuff, right? I mean, just hanging from their ankles after a while. It's like, I mean, they'll get sick and stuff, but they'll be all right after that. John Michael, I actually think Dad has a thing for his own daughter. Oh, God. Living out his own fantasies through it. Do you think there was a chair at the end of the bed and he sat? Geist von Panzer, or with another man. Oh, he wanted his daughter to lure him in and get him all, fluffed so that he could walk in. Room for one more? I don't know. Sure is bizarre, isn't it? No, really, I thought she was 22. I thought she was 22. He's like, oh, well, he gets out of control with the alcohol, and I just can't deal with that. Well, you got stuff to deal with now. So the lesson here is, don't let 30-year-olds date your 15-year-old.
This has been a Nailsin News Bulletin.
Getting that animation's all screwed up. Oh, well. One of these days, I'll figure that out, I suppose. Okay, so there's a commentary on that. A. Thompson says, sorry, phone on charger, can't see. Stealth Chaos, they seek him here. They seek him there. They seek at A. Thompson everywhere. Mumble Slam, dude on the left, look-alike Mark Norman. Stealth Chaos at Mumble Slam, looks like Andrew Garfield, too. Stealth Chaos, Garfield. Mumble Slam, I see it, Stealth. Stealth Chaos at Mumble Slam, like a Norman / Garfield hybrid. Comedy. Stealth Chaos. Dad looks like Chad Zumach from this distance. Mumble Slam. This is what happens when fluoride is pumped into the water system. Well, see there, they could explain that. He says, look, it's all the fluoride. Well, gotta let him go. Stealth Chaos. Dad probably has holes drilled into the walls. Well, yeah, more than likely. I'm still going for he's got the cook chair, Stealth Chaos. I love the wacky Keystone Cops-esque jail outfits. Well, yes. Some counties in their jails have brought those back, Mumble Slam Copping was charged with copping a fill, am I right? Well, a little more than that. Stealth Chaos at Mumble Slam, boom. Indeed. Stealth Chaos, Kalk and Balebrenner. Stealth Chaos, Klingon is Star Trek, silly. Yeah, well, I guess he didn't know that, Mumble Slam, that is white trash Andrew Garfield. No, honestly, I thought she was 22. Well, let's use his real accent. No, honestly, I thought she was 22. All right. Um, where is the? There it is. Ba-da, ba, ba-da, ba, ba. I don't. Oh, no, I don't need that. So I'll turn that off. So anyway, there's of course the drawing put in, and put it through the paint filter to solidify the black ink artwork. Yeah, yeah. So here's art from the Woman of Tomorrow comic book, so you can see the design they did for the suit. So you got the hip boots with those things, a sort of I don't know girdle slash belt. I don't know, and I don't know if they're going to have that, but you can't really tell because this is so very far away and so very blurry. But for the most part, looks like and you can tell the design of the S is similar to Corn Sweat. So she's got the big belt like thing, mini skirt, and it looks like the boots are about the same there. So, oh, there's another one. There she is on top of this bizarre tank. And that's, if you can make it out, it's kind of tough, but that's supposed to be Lobo standing there. I don't know if this is actually Millie Alcock. Probably not. It's probably a stunt double, and the same with Lobo. But then again, perhaps it is them. I mean, they're just standing up there. But it's interesting, like the cape is really short here. My guess is for these scenes, they'll CGI the cape later to have it, flowing around and all that kind of stuff. So, but she's wearing a long cape there. So, but you get the idea. That's pretty much the suit. So there you go. Supergirl has a suit, and well, I thought she would. Let me. Yeah, that's kind of Okay, we'll go with that. Oops. Damn it. Oh, that's annoying. I gotta fix the lines on the Super S. And I'll put that there. Yeah, but there, right there. That should take care of that. And I just vaguely put some of the lines there. I'm assuming those will be there as well, since, hey, you and Superman have similar clothes because you're from that dead planet. All right. So, yeah, in the comic book, I remember them saying, they wanted Lobo in it because it's an outer space thing. So, odds are she'd run into him. But for whatever reason, editorial at the time said, no, you can't have Lobo. We need him for something else, or it's too much conflict for whatever other story. Whatever they intended to do. And I don't know if it would have just been since the whole thing's a ripoff, they might have ripped off the Superman story, but just made it about, Supergirl, where Lobo, there's somebody wants to put you in a zoo, Supergirl, and I'm here to collect. Or, the main man never loses, or whatever. So, of course, Jason Momoa will be cast in the role, and it makes way more sense for him to play a role like that than Aquaman. I like the Aquaman movie okay, but really, Lobo makes way more sense for him, and of course, he's all hyped to play the role. So he'll be introduced in the Supergirl movie, and probably get his own Lobo movie where he'll fly around on his space motorcycle and all that stuff, and smoke his cigars while hunting, aliens on the run that are wanted for whatever. course, that's the other thing. He's a bounty hunter. So, and Supergirl is essentially hired by this girl. Of course, Supergirl's not doing it for any monetary gain. She's doing it because she feels sorry for the kid and is going to see to it that she gets justice and all that. Plus, it's supposed to be some story, and I imagine they'll fit it in to that narrative to where she doesn't really feel at home on Earth because, she grew up on Krypton. She's, a teenager when she left, whereas Superman was a little baby uh, and doesn't have any immediate memories of his own of the place, whereas, she was there for a bit until what was left of it was Argo City that somehow survived, the destruction of the planet, but it wasn't permanent, and so then her parents had to put her in a rocket and save her, and she had to watch all those people die, and then she arrives on Earth, and the last time she saw little Kal-El, well, he was a little baby, and apparently she was like his babysitter and this sort of thing. They changed the story around at times. Sometimes it was like they, I think, just skipped the idea of Argo City surviving and stuff like that, and that her father had developed the little rocket like Jor-El had, but he wasn't really as good at it as his brother. So uh, his daughter just kind of gets lost in space, and through the time displacement that happens in space travel, um, you know, Kal-El had already arrived, had grown up to adulthood. By the time she reaches there, she's still this teenager, and comes to find, baby Kal-El's a grown man and all this stuff, and she's like, "Hey, what the hell?" And plus, she doesn't fit in with human society. So the story is she's kind of lost and whatnot. And in this story, she's also celebrating her birthday, but she's all depressed about it because, her whole family got wiped out. And anyone else she knew, she, obviously would have had friends and all this sort of stuff, and they're all gone. Um, So she goes to a red sun planet so she can get drunk because you can't get drunk with superpowers because, well, getting drunk is intoxication. Well, if you're invulnerable, you can't be poisoned, so you can't be intoxicated. Yeah. So she went to this planet, the red sun, so she want to be medicated, and that's and then the young girl who wants to get revenge. She came to town to take the man who took her daddy. And she figures, well, I can't do it myself, but I've heard of the legend of Supergirl. And meets Supergirl. And, says, hey, I need your help. And so, anyway, they got this whole journey they do and all that. Just like in True Grit. And, ultimately they received justice. So the girl also narrated the comic book, just like True Grit, and so it's being told from a future point, where she's a grown woman as she's narrating, and she's a young girl in the story. So she's, just like True Grit, and she tells the whole story about what happened, just like True Grit. Yeah, so it's just a complete ripoff, and I don't know. I'm aware of this, I guess. I never saw the movie, and certainly never read the book. So, oh, but Tom King's the thing. Well, haven't seen any evidence of that greatness yet. He's been blessed by the artists that work on his comics. They're always top notch and really good. But, geez Louise. And for the most part, he just sort of teases like things. He's very much like Bad Robot and stuff like that. He would have fit right in with this, which is funny that he's going to be, writing along with Damon Lindelof for the Green Lantern series, because, well, those are two peas in a pod. It's kind of the same idea. Tease and then never pay off, and don't be above stealing other people's ideas and stuff like that. So it's concerning. But that's the situation they're in. Of course, the guy who was the show, I don't know if he the showrunner. What's his name? Monday, Chris Monday, maybe. He was worked on Ozark, which was a pretty good show. I mean, I've only seen 2 seasons of it. I like both seasons, so. But maybe the only real hope for that Lantern show is that he's more in charge of it than the other two and can overrule the stupid. And if that's the case, well, maybe it's got a shot. All right. Put this here. All right. The one thing about it, though, is, the Supergirl, they're just going to do a full-on adaptation of this comic book story. I often wondered if that's just what they should do with all the other characters and just do these live-action adaptations of actual stories that they had. And obviously, the favorite ones. As for Supergirl, you would think there'd be something better than Tom King, but maybe not. But they could have, obviously wanting to do Dark Knight Returns, but so many movies have already sort of broached the themes and stuff, if not outright copied it. The Dark Knight trilogies did some of that. Obviously, Batman versus Superman did it. So perhaps it's too late. They did do an adaptation of Watchmen, so they got that. But there's other stuff too. So I don't know. But it does seem like it's the really last chance for this sort of idea, and it may already be too late. Yeah. So, and it's a shame because I thought another choice they could have done, which might have been pretty damn cool, is to make them period pieces and put Superman in the 40s, battling giant robots like in the Max Fleischer cartoons and stuff like that. Because some of that of the Fantastic Four movie, where it's in this alternate future of the 60s. Some of that, I don't think that'll be the main focus of it. And there's some troubling news about that, about doing the story to explore gender roles and all this sort of thing. And I'm like, oh, God. Uh, so there may not be much hope for Fantastic Four, which means it's probably good news for Superman since they're going up against each other, which, ironically enough, they're both in the same kind of position. They're supposed to somehow uh, save both brands of the shared universe aesthetic, you know. But but it was an idea about to shake it up, to look different and everything at the very least. And with Superman, he's certainly a character born of that era, and you could have utilized all that stylistically and whatnot. And it's just an idea and approach, but they're going to do this instead. So we'll can hope for the best, I suppose. Some of the basic descriptions of it, that they're saying, oh boy, that sounds bad. It didn't sound bad to me, in that they were comparing it to the first Wonder Woman movie and to Captain America, the first Avenger, you know. And I'm like, well, those are pretty good. And especially if you can still capture the goodwill and essence of Superman as, the good guy, um, then this can probably work. Um, but I'm pretty sure some people, for Supergirl, someone's going to notice, hey, this is the same plot as True Grit, but it's all in outer space. It's Supergirl, and maybe that'll be enough to distract you from the, plagiarism. um, and then you got poor Millie Alcock. She has to be the face of this thing. It's not her fault. She didn't write it, but maybe it'll work out. And that's just the thing of so many bad projects that Tom King did. Uh, some of this actually succeeds, and then it's just like, oh, he can do no wrong. Yeah. And then a lot of them will get suckered into thinking this guy's the savior, the next big thing for future films and whatnot. And then, surprise, he'll just burn all your money and deliver nothing. Because he's just, yeah, he really fits in with the bad robot crowd. He really does. It's only fitting that he and Lindelof should come together. Maybe he can get together with J.J. Abrams and, I don't know, go destroy some other property. And that's the thing, nothing original ever. Okay, there we go. That's Supergirl, and close enough, I suppose. Yeah. And there's the. Oh, I guess I don't know if they'll put the yellow things on the boots. I can add that later. I guess that's, I don't know, part of the sole and the padding for her tippy toes. Whatever. There you go. Supergirl. That's something. Okay. Oh boy, it's a lot here. Let me Klingons, Star Trek, Mumble Slam. That is White Trash Andrew Garfield. Stealth Chaos. Supergirl does not have Doug's trademark perky breasticles in this iteration. Yeah, I know. I mean, she's supposed to be young and whatnot. Of course, that's not true. I think she's in the story. She turns 21. Damn. Well, I'll have to draw another one soon, won't I? Stealth Cat, how old was she? Well, originally she was always a teenage character, but I think that's the story. Yeah, is she either 20 or 21? Something like that. Anyway, Mumble Slam, we need nipples on every edge. Every edge? Like even the elbows? Stealth Chaos, my favorite body part. Well, Mumble Slam, why is Superman bloody in the trailer? Isn't the only time he bled was from Doomsday? Well, it depends. No, he's bled before. If there's kryptonite involved, then you can achieve that. There is this character in there called Ultraman, so I guess he can give him a severe beating. I don't know. That's the mystery of the trailer, So, hey, you got to tune into the movie to find out what's going on. Now, that's the tease. The Stealth Chaos, does Supergirl get bloody, or is she still not that old yet? No, she's old enough. Yeah. Yeah, I do think she gets a severe beating in the story. So there you go. You'll have to tune in to find out. Mumble Slam Stealth trying out for TSN, the Shuli Network. Oh, yeah, because, A. Thompson, Lars Ivar has a new old Burning Bridges episode. You can see when KB was actually funny. Yeah, those were the days, huh? Mumble Slam, he still makes me laugh, so wouldn't that make him still funny? A. Thompson, you are laughing at KB's death spiral of a show. A. Thompson, Burning Bridges was so much better than MLC now. Mumble Slam, so then what's got you laughing, A. Thompson? Mumble Slam, no one is arguing that. Oh, that Burning Bridges was better? Yeah. Stealth Chaos, Doug, can you tell us about your musical preferences? I was surprised when you asked Pat to play Pixies for you. Oh, really? Well, in the 90s, I got heavily into the alternative rock and whatnot, and there was a lot of that stuff going around. And Pixies was one of them. I like them. Before that, it was all Pink Floyd, Beatles, Doors, Led Zeppelin, the Stones, stuff like that. And then, I got into the I don't know what you call it, the cheap hair metal bands in the late 80s. There was Motley Crue and Rat, that sort of thing. But it was almost as cheap as the crap, I don't know what you call it, the prepackaged music that ultimately dominated in the end. But anyway, and then the alternative scene came along, and I was all about that. So there was quite a few that I liked. I liked Nirvana, I liked Beck, 9 Inch Nails, got into that, Jane's Addiction. I mean, I could go on forever. And then there was a multitude of stuff that came and went, and I don't even know who they were at the time. And for a while, I subscribed to the College Music Journal. And with each issue, you had a CD with a collection of songs on there. So there was a bunch of artists and groups on there that had some cool tunes here and there. But then it all collapsed into ruin and died, But it was fun while it lasted. Pumpkin Spiced Heroin. Good morning, Doug. Well, good morning to you, Pumpkin Spiced Heroin. Mumble Slam, I've seen the Pixies at least twice, maybe thrice. Always good. Oh, I'll bet. Stealth Chaos, when KB interviewed Fred Stoller, it was great, but still not on par with Norm's interview gold. Stealth Chaos at Mumble Slam. Are the Ramones in your top 5? Stealth Chaos. Is Pat going on Bedabbler today? Will you be watching, Doug? Probably not. I don't know, when does that come on? Because I'll probably be unconscious if it's during the day. If it's overnight, I'll be at work and I might be able to catch it. I did catch Melton last night. Mumble Slam, no Stealth Chaos, but I love them. Top 5 is sacred. Stealth Chaos at Mumbles Slam, duly noted. Mumble Slam, they're close. Top 10 for sure. Stealth Chaos, I really vibe with I Wanna Be Sedated. Mumble Slam, are they in yours? Stealth Chaos. Stealth Chaos. Mumble Slam, maybe they should, but, I prefer depressing and pretentious weirdo stuff. Boy, I tell you, it is addictive, isn't it? Strange how that works, but, well. Stealth Chaos, always loved the Ramones when they come on the radio. Makes any day better. Stealth Chaos, we make Doug work for the no money. Damn, that's right. I'm not getting anything. I didn't even put my super tips thing in there. I had it all set up and everything. Not really, because it doesn't work. But I mean, the text version does. I mean, the other one does too. You can see it, but you can't hear it. I don't know what I'm doing. Oh wait, maybe do it like that. Yeah. All right, there it is. Always love the Ramones. We make Doug work for no money. Mumble Slam, they are timeless, Stealth. Mumble Slam, they literally invented the standard punk sound. Yeah, I think that's true. More than most. Yeah. A. Thompson, Doug needs 1,000 watch hours. Yeah, for YouTube. Yeah, I do. Stealth Chaos, Mumbles Slam, yep. All the budding UK punk bands famously snuck into their early Roundhouse gig in London. A. Thompson, what makes me laugh? Turns out ex-girlfriend drama makes me laugh. Yeah, well, these things happen. A. Thompson, I still laugh at the PD versus FG drama. Some of those stories are classic. She needs to be on that Ari Shafir Comedy Central short show. Dear God. Where's the cacti when you need them? Stealth Chaos, no Elvis, Beatles, or the Rolling Stones in 1977. In 1977, Knives in West 11. Hey, it's this Mr. Nailsin guy saying super tips. And then 8 times 7. Why can't Doug crack the 1,000 out? I need to super chat this guy to make him draw dirty pictures. I don't know. It just isn't happening. So there's, the super tips, Stealth Chaos. I enjoyed Doug and Pat discussing the Doors, but I think I like all the songs best that they find hilarious. Oh, yeah. F super tip. Well, that's a terrible thing to say, A. Thompson. Just awful. So I do all this trouble to get it up there, and you just want to fuck it. I mean, you're not even acquainted. So anyway, there's super tip is a bit problematic. Why? It's problematic for me because I can't figure out how to project the sound of the AI, But geez Louise. If I could just have that, the things I would do. Oh, yes. A bit more than that. Oh, man, it didn't even show. Oh, that's right. I got to be on camera to do it. Damn it. A. Thompson, Tass in a bikini, give us a free one. Well, that's outrageous. She's underage. Mumbles Slam, Pat appears to be on another program at the moment. Has Pat ever come on your show, Doug? Well, yeah. My podcast, he's on the current episode. It should be out sometime today. I guess not just yet. But yeah, sometime today it'll be on there, but that's, audio. He's come on this one a time or two, but usually it's like he's finished his show and wants to go to bed, I don't know. I'll figure something out and probably have him on this while I BS about whatever drawing I'm drawing. Stealth Chaos. Pat's on Mindhunter on Netflix most days of the week. Mumble Slam. No, this show live. Yeah, well, yeah, this one. It's been a while, but yeah, I've had him on here. So anyway, there we go. Supergirl. And that's all. Well, I can't say that's all she wrote. She didn't write or say anything, but it's all I drew. A. Thompson, holy shit, Pat is on Bedabbler. Oh, it's on right now? A. Thompson, that traitor. Traitor? Oh, you mean betraying me? He doesn't even know I'm on. And it's no guarantee that I would have done it anyway. I can't guarantee anything. I never know what's going to happen. Well, I do know I'll do my Sunday comics show tomorrow morning. So there'll be that. Let's see. Did I fix this thing? Oh, yeah, I'm still there. All right. Let me, so I can close out the show properly. Yeah. Oh, I'm big now. I'm a big dude. You got that right. So that's it for Supergirl. Good luck with the movie and everything, and hope your cousin can save the day for Warner Brothers in DC so that you guys can do shows and have fun flying around and fighting people in rubber suits. So there you go. That's the Nailsin live stream for today. Tomorrow will be Sunday comics. In the meantime, the Mr. Nailsin Show episode with me and Pat talking about crazy criminal bitches will be upon you soon. You can check it out at radiomisfits.com or wherever you get your podcast. Oh, that's right. That's, everywhere. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. And then, of course, there's my locals. The NailsinRatings.locals.com. There's stuff on there. Oh, no, really? Like this right now. Oh, yes. So, that'll be great. No, really. So anyway, have a good rest of your day. I got to go clean up after being at the store all night. And then collapse into bed and become comatose, preferably for 8 hours. Can I make it? I don't know. It's been a struggle lately, but let's hope it works out. I'll let you know later. So, thank you all. And we'll do it again someday soon. I was going to say good night because it's good night for me, but again, have a good day.